I think that sometimes we really don't know like what we're super good at or what our favorite things are to do until we do it. You know, it's so important not to look on that as a failure. It's just like, I tried this and that wasn't really the greatest fit for me. So, you know, let's try this. I mean, that's a great, you frame it well, you are self-aware, and now you've done the change. And that's what creates success right there.
Welcome to Drop and Give Me 20, where you learn keys to entrepreneurial success as Lindsey Germono interviews business owners with military backgrounds on what works and what doesn't. Listen as they focus on the stories, both challenges and wins, that military entrepreneurs have faced in growing their businesses.
I'm going to start with the folks that are listening to this. They may have not heard your episode from before. So we'll push that out kind of in a link so people can listen to it. But what we want to focus on for this season, for season 3, is kind of a where are you now? So as our listeners are listening to this, I've not recorded video in the past. I mean, it's stressful because then you're like Wi-Fi and all the things.
Shower, you know, like
you have to like do your hair. But Kathy, I'm going to start with, you were one of the very first people that I asked for help. Like I waved my white flag 4.5 years ago.
Wow. It's hard to believe it's been that long.
You spoke at an event. I heard you speak and I just felt like, I think she could help me. Like, I don't know what that is. You just have that intuition of like, I just feel like, and I've seen a lot of speakers, some are not a good fit for us, right? And I was in a space where I just needed a lot of help and I just couldn't figure out how to take that first step. So you were extremely instrumental in that. And I cannot thank you enough because you allowed me to kind of work on some of those barriers I had set up on myself. Like I was in the process of trying to figure out how to task things out. And I'm still working on it. It's not perfect, but
man, you're rocking it now. Oh my gosh. You're a star. You're my stars.
Thank you. So tell us, since we have our recording 2 seasons ago, tell us what's new, what's going on with you. And I've not read these, so some of it may be captured in here, but you just kind of give me a rundown of what's been going on, what's changed.
Well, so when we spoke last time, I was married and I am not married anymore. My divorce will be a year on March 2nd. So it's new. It hasn't even been a year since it's been final. So I've moved. I live on my own in a little condo. So lots of huge changes have happened in the last few years since I talked to you last.
Yeah. I'm hoping for positivity and that it was a change that you're progressing through healthy. I don't know. It's like you don't want to say congratulations or you don't want to say.
I know. And it's not. It's sad. I would say I wouldn't, think I'd be stretching it far if I said that ex-husband, which is a really hard phrase to learn after being married for 35 years. I'd say he would say it's sad also. It's just, it's just sad. Mm-hmm. And it was rough. And it's still tough. But, honestly, I was thinking about our last, what I talked about on this last time. And I think it was chunking it down, like taking a big goal, and chunking it down into little steps. And seriously, that is how I've lived my life for the last 2 years. It's just like no strategic plan, like no really far off vision. It's just like, okay, priority, next step, priority, next step. And honestly, that really is what's gotten me through because business-wise, I have watched other women go through a similar situation and lose years of their lives. Just, spinning or not moving forward. And I was just determined not to do that because, I'm a life coach. You are where you are. You try and make the best of whatever you have. And even though, for a year, I felt like I had a Dementor, honestly, living in my chest, just sucking out all joy and all happiness. And I thought anyone that I walked near, like within 15 feet of me, they had to feel it. Like, don't you just feel me sucking all the joy, out of the room? and it gets better, but it's that one just determined to take the next step and the next step and the next step.
I have processed major business decisions in that chunking format. And it is something that it is incredibly overwhelming and like to think about it. But once you start doing it, oh my gosh, it works. Like
it really,
I have to do that in a lot of things in my business and personal life. I mean, all the things, things are overwhelming, you know, and you get frozen. Like I am really good if I have, here are the 5 things I'm working on this week. You add 6, I'm like, I don't have time for this, you know? So are you still taking clients?
Yes. Still taking clients, doing a lot of training with industry. So that's been really good. I left Huntsville, Alabama in January of last year, and I didn't know where I was going to live. And because I just didn't feel like I had enough information. You know, I have a son in New Jersey with grandchildren and have a son in Austin, Texas. But I have work here. I live in Pinehurst, North Carolina now. And I have done a leadership series here. At that point, I'd done it like 11 years. And so I just left and I lived with friends and family. I am so blessed. And they all just said, you can stay with us. And I was going to take a year just to decide. So it's like, I don't have enough information and I am not in a good spot. I mean, Army training, you know, tells you not to make major decisions for a year after, you know, a major event. And as the year progressed, it just became clear, and a decision that had been overwhelming and horrible, and there's no way, just sort of opened itself as I went through and got more information. It was like, oh, now it's obvious, you know, now this is where I need to be.
I have absolutely no experience with this, but what I feel, and I'm like, when I watch this, or when you watch this part where you're talking, what I feel and like in my heart, I'm an empath, you know that, I vibe off of others, is like when you started saying I didn't have a place to live, I like want to jump in and go, Kathy, I'm here, like you come with me, you know. I immediately go, I don't know what that character is, I'm a fixer, you know. And so I'm like, oh, like just I'm so
it was a big jump. It was a big jump.
I'm so feeling for you. Like I'm just feeling
Thank you. And a lot of people do. And unfortunately, the other thing that we do when we're in the middle of this is we don't share. You know, we don't.
Oh, yes. It's so personal.
Yeah. We don't reach out and ask for help. And it took me a while. My sister was actually the first one I called, and I just said, I can't do this alone. And just her saying, her husband, John, they were like, we have your back. We have your back. And just that, you know, it's just like, okay, I'm not alone. I can do this. So
I'm not in Pinehurst, but I have your back.
I know. And so many people do. Like once people know, they're so kind and so supportive. And it's that vulnerability of sharing, you know, and I think you're kind of like this, like me, that, you know, asking for help thing. Like I like to fix, and I have never really been great at asking for help.
Yeah,
it's a huge, great lesson and a lot of practice.
And you just hope that others that are around you can know you well enough to know that about you and just kind of push a little bit. Because I've had people just go, I know you're saying you're okay. It's like I saw a meme on Facebook or something. Check on your strong friend, because your strong friend needs help too. And I think that I just, as soon as you just kind of allude to, I'm struggling with something, you know, those people kind of come out the gate.
They do. And I had several of them. And then people, like I've done a leadership series. I'm in my 13th year of it here in Pinehurst right now. And so I've had 24 graduates a year for 13 years. And when they found out I was staying here between, you know, sessions, one of them reached out and pestered me, you know, in the best way. He was like, Kathy, you need to come to Rotary. And I was like, you know, I'm working alone and I'm wallowing a little, you know, and he was great. He texted me, Kathy, are you coming? You know, Kathy, are you? I mean, he was one of those people that just, his wife had also been through the leadership series. So I had them both. And he would just say, come to church with us, do this, do that. He was one of those drag me out people that I've told him many times, I so appreciate y'all. So totally appreciate you.
You need it. Sometimes you just need it. Thank you for sharing that with us. And for those that are listening, do go back to Kathy's episode. She talks a lot about, you know, that process. And so, Kathy, are you ready to hear what others
Oh,
say?
yeah, I am. I'm nervous. I'm actually nervous about it.
So I've read, you're my third recording. And for those that are listening, what we did was we reached out to Kathy, meaning I have only one personality, I promise, and asked Kathy to share with 3 or 4 people in her network this concept of season 3, which is I need to give back to, I'm constantly a giver and fixer. I mean, you've probably identified that. And so I need to tell the folks that were on my podcast just some positive things. People never really see what others see. So I have that feedback, and Kathy hasn't read them. I haven't read them.
Yeah. And, it's kind of hard to know who to ask because, like, my clients don't have a good view of my business. They know what I do for them. So I actually asked one friend and then 2 family members who know what's been going on and have watched me grow and mess with the business. So
I'll tell you that when my family tells me, Lindsey, you're doing a really good job, it means more to me than anything because they know me the most. Yeah. Like, my dad is my biggest fan. He's my biggest fan. And he carries around he's all Germono Advertising Company. Everything he wears, his cell phone. And I mean, I can't tell you that. And my mom, everybody in my family. So I'm glad that you reached out to them. I have no order of reading these, first, second, or third. I'm just going to read the first one that came in and we can go from there. The process is I read it and then I tell you who it's from. But you'll probably figure out who it's from at the end, from whatever. So for those that are listening, do go back to listen to Kathy's episode. And these are 3 very special people in her life. I'll go ahead with letter number 1.
All right.
I'm going to omit the first sentence because it says who it's from in the first sentence.
Okay.
Kathy has always kept a focus on her genuine appreciation for the subject matter of leadership, which makes her an effective teacher. From floor workers in factories to more executive students, her love of leadership helps students get excited about the concepts. I think one of her strongest attributes as an educator, besides her love of the topic, is her tangible teaching style. She uses visual aids and props, most always made by her, to reinforce her points. This makes the lesson more fun and relatable, as well as increases retention. I think this has made her business successful. People leave her class with a firm grasp of leadership and an experience that they recommend to others. I know one of her greatest achievements is her online class. I was witness to the amount of effort she put into them, and I think she has every right to be proud of the end product. As a project, I think it displays one of her best personality traits, the willingness to learn. She was not daunted by learning about shooting and editing video, editing sound, or structuring online curriculum. She just attacked it. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, but Kathy can teach herself a whole slew of new tricks and be delighted the entire time. Kathy is my mom, so I know I'm biased, but she is one of the strongest, most intelligent women I know. I have always been proud of her entrepreneurship, running her business and still being incredibly supportive of me and my brother is a testament to her greatness. Can you guess who this is from?
No, it's from Andrew. It's from my son, Andrew.
Is Andrew your youngest?
He's my youngest.
Baby?
He is. He's 28, so yeah, he's my baby.
He doesn't probably want me to call him that. Gotcha.
He knows he's my baby. So yes, Andrew calls me. He was one of my big supporters on his way home from work, and he works in a manufacturing environment. And so he and I actually talk leadership. He'll go, "Mom, what about this?" And I'll go, "Okay, forming, storming, we'll do whatever, it is." So yeah, that is so sweet. He really, that's so good.
All right. Here's the second one.
Okay.
I met Kathy in our initial coaching training. I was intrigued and drawn to her seemingly self-confidence and honesty. She kept a group of us together by creating and initiating a Grateful Heart Friday group, where we share all that we were grateful for that week. After each of our trainings, while we were driving home, we had in-depth, heartfelt conversations about the training and how they applied to our lives. I cherished those conversations. I loved all the challenging questions Kathy would ask me, and I always felt comfortable sharing and not hiding what I was truly feeling. That is a trait an excellent coach can bring to their clients, and I truly believe she does. We have stayed in touch since those initial trainings and have become very close friends and confidants. She is always one of the first individuals I go to for work-related or personal-related questions. I trust she will listen and hear what I am saying or asking, and I know she will never hold back, sharing with me what she is hearing and what I need to hear, which of course is sometimes hard to hear, and that is exactly why I reach out to her. I want to hear the no hiding, no BS opinion. She is also extremely generous in offering suggestions and sharing her ideas when I am creating leadership workshops. Kathy is someone who knows her highest values and lives by them. Whatever the universe tosses her, no matter how hard a blow might be, Kathy always takes time to process it, look at all the positive possible ways to move forward, and then chooses what she feels is best for her at that moment and takes the first step. She doesn't know exactly where she is going, however, knows it feels right and good at that time. And she is always honoring her values. This is one of the things Kathy teaches her clients. And who else but someone who walks their talk is a better teacher of this process. Kathy believes in what she teaches. She lives it, and her passion for it shows in every cell of her being. I've loved watching Kathy grow and expand her business, never being afraid to incorporate new, out-of-the-box thinking ways to share her ideas and knowledge with others.
Oh, that's Joni.
That is Joni.
That's my friend Joni. Yeah,
so she's not a relative?
No, she and I did coach training together back in 2005. We did our initial coach training, the coaches training. Right. So yeah.
So she's like, does she do what you do?
She does. She does coaching and she does leadership training. So she's with Penn State a lot. So yeah, we talk to each other about, this exercise or trying this, and we both have clients, although that's confidential. So we don't.
When someone does what
you details there.
Well, there's a lot of trust there too, because when somebody does what you do, in order to talk to them about work stuff and it's not competing per se, it's friendly. So I think that's really great.
Yeah. Well, and I honestly believe that in the coaching realm, and I do a lot of coaching in my training, you try to maintain an abundance attitude. Like there's always enough. There's enough for all of us. We don't have to fight about it. There's plenty.
I know there are a lot of businesses that need advertising, marketing help. Let's all help them,
Right.
Okay. Last one. No tears yet. So that's good.
I know that is good. Although Andrew, oh my gosh, he wrote really well. It was very good.
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Hi, Lindsey. Hello. Oh, wait, I can't tell you who that is.
I'm sure everyone introduced themselves first.
She forwarded me your email about doing a follow-up for the folks that have been on your podcast. I just listened to the podcast again. Thank you. As I sit and listen a second time, I am realizing the timing of the podcast and some of the things that were going on with Kathy during that time. She separated from her husband in November 2016, and I now know that her marriage several years before 2016 was in a state of decline. What she accomplished with grace in a time of such emotional upset is truly amazing and inspiring. Once Kathy's divorce was final and she moved back to North Carolina in 2018, things changed for her. She had left Huntsville, Alabama, where she had a very hard time breaking into the coaching scene due to its close-knit and exclusive community. There was not a lot of community spirit of sharing or helping each other succeed, which is completely counter to who my sister is. Once she returned to North Carolina, word got out that she was back. People who had taken her leadership series at the community college years before started calling her and asking her to join them in endeavors and groups. They are all so happy that she's back. The seeds that she has planted for 12 years for her leadership series are blossoming into networking possibilities and job opportunities. She is receiving the love, admiration, and true gratitude of those students who listened to her and implemented her suggestions, and are also successful businessmen and women in the Southern Pines, Pinehurst, Sanford communities. I think being reminded of how truly awesome she is helped to motivate her and revived her professionally and personally. She has been back in North Carolina and settled for less than a year, and she has large contracts coming in one after another. This is the biggest moment that I have seen for her and her business, and the happiest moment as she realizes that she can support herself and thrive on her own. I believe she knew this all along, but now has had it confirmed, which is the cherry on top. Kathy has a talent for asking questions and communicating things in a way that you actually hear what she is saying and can listen to it without a cloud of emotion. Her explanations are simple, but can be life-changing. One thing that she has shared with me in the past is to ask myself in times of upset, does it really matter?
That's a good one for all of us. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing how many small things in my life were tweaking me out and in turn upsetting my family that really didn't matter. Such a simple question has made a monumental difference in how I deal with my husband and son. Kathy is a problem solver who has the ability to stand back and see all sides, and she is an advocate for her clients and her family. Her words have given many of us the confidence and backbone to stand up for ourselves and to set boundaries in our personal and professional lives. Characteristics I think of when I think of my sister. Strength and grace are tied for number one.
Oh.
The way she handled herself during her divorce was just plain incredible. No pettiness or games, just a willingness to be open, kind, loving, and understanding in an emotionally excruciating situation. She never lost sight or forgot what she had had with her husband. I think her being grateful for the good experiences that they had shared helped her to remain positive during the process, although I know at times being positive was extremely difficult. Number two, perseverance. I remember talking to her on the phone while she was creating her online courses. She spoke of her challenges with motivating, recording, posting, and editing. Teaching herself how to edit audio and video sounded like a huge undertaking, but she did it. And that knowledge that she will always have and can also use. So in the end, it was time well spent. Laying down a solid foundation is of great importance, and she knows this. Number three, kindness. Kathy is kind. She cares about other people. She wants to help people achieve their goals and succeed in life and does not judge them for their hang-ups. Number four, positivity. Kathy believes that keeping positive thoughts in the forefront of your mind leaves no room for negative thoughts. She has kept up her Grateful Heart Friday group for a decade. I believe her dedication to being positive has propelled her forward in business and in life. She is someone that people gravitate towards. And last but not least, number five, loyal and honest. Kathy is loyal and honest to everyone in her life. I'm very lucky to have her as my sister. I love you, Kathy.
Oh, God.
There's 3 exclamation points at the end of that. So I should say, I love you, Kathy.
That is so sweet. That is so sweet.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
So, do you have more than one sister?
No, just one.
Okay. All right.
One sister. She's 8 years younger than I am.
You have nice people in your life.
I do. I have fabulous people in my life. I really do. I have the most supportive, wonderful network of all time. And honestly, like my graduates of the leadership series, we get to know each other because we're together for quite a while in this series. And I have a contract with the North Carolina Department of Commerce, and it came from one of my graduates. So the business that's coming in is just this phenomenal support group of people that believe in me. And that's such an honor, such a privilege to have people like that.
I would say this, but I'm sure you're going to be okay, or you're okay.
Yeah.
You're okay.
Yeah, it was kind of dicey at the beginning. I wasn't quite sure.
I'm not okay.
But yeah. Now I'm pretty sure now it's gonna be okay. And that would be my message to anyone going through something, really difficult, is hang in there and reach out. And, really the support helps so much, because we all have good people, that are with us.
We do. Kathy, you've been instrumental for me, and I know you've been instrumental for a lot of folks. And I'm so happy to hear that they are giving back to you too. So I cannot thank you enough. And I'm so glad that we were able to catch up, because I had no idea,
No. And most people don't, and that's fine, from a business perspective, you put it out there all over the place, because you never want it to become who you are. or
no, and then you don't want people to feel like, oh, we should throw her a bone because like, I don't want people to feel sorry for me because of my decisions in life, like I'm still really great at the things I'm still really great at. I hot mess and other things. So that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You just get to juggle a few extra things there for a while, but it's, but thank you. It's working with people like you that face things and overcome and make plans and expand. Oh my gosh, how far you've gone and what you've accomplished is also just amazing.
Well, and in the interest of what we're talking about, not to, we didn't talk about sharing this, but I've made some pretty big decisions in the past couple of weeks. So it is February, we're 2019 that we're recording this, and I have failed at employees. So after 5, 6, I don't know if I designed it correctly from the beginning. And that is something I absolutely own. There's some fundamental parts of that I just didn't do right. So what I've decided is I'm not going to have external salespeople anymore. I need to and I was missing the client interaction, this is what I'm good at, right?
Right.
So I had expressed that in the company, and I never really truly had someone managing all the things. I had people that would help, and I had support and things like that, but I couldn't just toss everything over to somebody. So, the decision was I can't do it all anymore. This other way that I was trying it, I was like hitting a wall over and over again. And I own that. Like, that's something that you have to, in business, you got to have some talks with yourself, and they're not always going to be great talks. Yes. And I have to realize that maybe that's not the way it's supposed to be. So now everything is kind of changing. So I'm not going to be the Tony Robbins of things, but I'm going to be a lot more client facing and have my internal team handling all the things, from there. And that was a hard decision because I always wanted to grow, have all these people in different markets, but it wasn't working.
Oh, wow.
Maybe it was the remote part of it. Maybe it was probably a lot of it was financially, like it's a lot of where I couldn't do well was focusing my drive on 2 different things at once. So either get all of me for sales and working on the business, or you get all of me for working in the business, the taxes, the paperwork, you know what I mean? It was very hard for me to.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. And so I've found people that are really great in the administrative, and that's the change. And I think like a part of that was like, why didn't I think of this? Maybe I needed to go through that. Maybe I needed to. Maybe I just needed to try it and see. And then maybe also I looked at like, where am I not finding joy? And the joy was like all the nuances of the things that were dragging me from the things that I started this business for,
Right.
But I think that in life and especially in business, especially military entrepreneurship, that is something that you either get it or you don't. And I just hope that when you get it, you can pivot. Like I was able to pivot, and go, okay, this is okay. I'm okay.
And that's one, congratulations on a lot of self-awareness. And then 2, I think that sometimes we really don't know like what we're super good at or what our favorite things are to do until we do it. It's so important not to look on that as a failure. It's just like, I tried this and that wasn't really the greatest fit for me. So, let's try this. I mean, that's a great, you frame it well, you are self-aware, and now you've done the change, and that's what creates success right there. So,
yeah, well, you didn't see that. So, when people, what you don't see, those are the times that matter. So the struggles and what behind the scenes, we're talking a lot about vulnerability now, but that it's it's the sitting in your car in front of Target going, what the am I doing?
No, that's very true. That is so true. And those are the real moments when you're with you, when you're alone with yourself, asking yourself those really tough questions.
And it's also, so you're in this, and I think you helped me with this for something years ago, 4.5 years. But so you're in this zone of just, feel like I'm not doing really great. It's what you do there that matters. so you can stay there and you're like, I give up, right?
Right.
Or you know what? I'm smart. I'm talented. I can figure this out. It's just going to look a little different.
Or keep banging your head against the wall for a while. But honestly, like, and we had a coaching relationship, and that is, I've got to say, the great thing about coaching is that we get in that rut where we just walk around in a circle, and someone outside like gives you a boost and lets you see up over the edge to see that there's more possibility out there. Because sometimes we really do just get stuck. And sometimes it's nice to have somebody on the outside say, hey, let me give you a boost up. Let me show you that there's other things, different ways to look at that out there.
And then what I feel is so much excitement once I've gotten to, oh my gosh, you're right. Like, or even if it's self-awareness, like, oh, you know what? This is good. I've got the tools that I need. I just need to assemble the toolbox again. Right.
Yeah.
I need to make some shifts. I was telling somebody, it's like you have, cylinders in a vehicle, and you just sometimes need somebody to take over the maintenance of the vehicle so you can just drive it. Like I just needed somebody to kind of come in and be like, hey, I got this for you. And I'm like, thanks, man. So anyway, we're all on a tangent, but you have some really great people in your life, and I cannot thank you enough for sharing all this with me. I'm going to forward you all this so you can have them in a space that brings you positivity. Because they're really, I think that is also what brings me joy with this season, is let me equip you of all the things you've done for us. Let me please send these to you, and so you have them forever.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Any feedback or any not feedback, but any last minute shares with our listeners? Where can they connect with you? All the things.
And my website, kathystoddardtorrey.com, has a blog. Working on a podcast, not quite there yet.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, I've got a few up. It's still kind of rough. But yeah, I do coaching and training, and definitely like helping people succeed. People like you that get out there in the world and do good is one of the really gratifying things about what I do.
Thank you. All right, you guys heard it from Kathy. Go connect with her. She's on all the social media. She's on LinkedIn. She's on Facebook, all the things.
Yes.
Kathy, thank you again. And I will be, I'm going to message you.
Okay, good. All right. Thanks, Lindsey.
Side conversations, I feel.
Yes, definitely. All right, thanks.
Well, thank you so much for being on Drop and Give Me 20. For those that are listening, I will go ahead and share Kathy's first episode with you guys, and please connect with her on social media. Kathy, thank you so much, and good luck, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Drop and Give Me 20, brought to you by Germono Advertising Company in Norfolk, Virginia. Please visit our podcast in iTunes, click on subscribe, and leave us a review. Your support goes a long way. When you subscribe and leave reviews, it helps the guests on our show as well. Jump in and let us know what you think. You can also follow all of our guests on the Drop and Give Me 20 Facebook page. We have Instagram and Twitter. Those handles are Give Me 20 Podcast. I'm your host, Lindsey Germono, and I appreciate you listening to the show.